What's going on, everybody? Mario Parecka here, and I'm having a conversation with Erik J. Olson. We met on Twitter. We just recorded a couple podcast episodes. Super excited for those to drop in about a week or so. Erik, what's going on, man?
Hey, Mario. Hey, you have a great process, by the way. I mean, you really have this thing dialed in. I'm super impressed.
I appreciate that. It's been years in the making, but we have fun with it, and I love having the conversations. That's what it's all about: is having conversations with like-minded people and really bringing value to each other and to the audience at the same time. And you have your podcast, Journey to 100million.com, is where people can find that. And you have a really cool process too, where you do 5-minute clips, and it's every day, 7 days a week for 5 minutes.
Yep. So we started off at 5 days a week, and then we expanded to 7 days a week. And I brought in my co-founder, Kevin Daisy. So we generally alternate episodes, and then we have guest hosts come on every once in a while, which hopefully you'll be a guest host very soon.
I'd love to.
But, it's a Amazon Flash Briefing, and so with Amazon Flash Briefings, they have to be under 10 minutes. And so we decided to aim for 4 to 5 minutes every single day. And the format is it's almost always the same, which is some sort of story about something that happened in the business, and it's usually something that I screwed up, and then the lesson learned, and then a recommendation to the listeners. And the whole idea is that we're trying to grow our business eventually to $100 million, and there's a lot to learn. And if I'm going through these struggles and we're at about $2 million right now and 10 years into it, then other people are going through it as well, and we can all share and learn together.
And I love the short format because, with my podcast, we keep it at 10 minutes. Yours, you do 5. So we're on the same wavelength, even with our haircuts too. I know I mentioned that in the podcast, but we got a lot. Yeah, it's smooth. It's nice. But let's talk a little bit really quickly, because your agency, thisisarray.com, is where people can find your digital marketing agency. You specialize in digital marketing, and it's a weird time in the world today. I mean, everyone's talking about the coronavirus and working from home and all of these different things. What are you experiencing?
It is crazy. So, one of the nice things about the setup that we have is we don't niche, which has always been a negative for us. We always thought that we needed to niche in a particular industry, but we just really couldn't pick one. And so we have clients that are in all sorts of different industries. And what that means now is that we're seeing the effect of the coronavirus in different industries. So as an example, we have a couple of clients that are in retail, and they're hurting. I mean, they have to close operations, and in most cases, they're laying people off. They just can't afford to keep paying people and not have anyone come through the door. But then there's other industries that are booming right now. So lawyers are doing very, very well. Anyone in the medical industry is doing well. Accountants are doing very, very well. B2B, in particular, telecom, they're crushing it. And so there are a lot of opportunities out there. And as an agency, what we're doing is we're going towards those opportunities now, whereas before we may have been like, oh, we don't want to do B2B. Well, you know what? It's a different world that we live in, and it changed instantly. So for us, we instantly changed our strategy, and we literally made some decisions the week before coronavirus hit that we've undone those decisions because we are in a different world. And so for anyone that's listening or watching, I would definitely recommend, think about what industry you're in, and if you're vulnerable, whether you're an employee or you're a business owner, try to start moving towards those industries that are recession proof. That's where the action is going to be for the next couple of weeks or months. And then long term, you just want to be recession proof, because who wants to go through this again?
That's for sure. And I hope we never have to. How long do you think this is going to last?
You know what? I have no idea, except I think it's going to be more along the lines of months than weeks. So as an example, I live in Virginia, and the governor shut down schools for 2 weeks initially. Yesterday, he shut it down for the rest of the school year. So it's crazy to think that the whole school year is shut. That's like, 4 or 5 months or something.
It's like half the year.
So this is, they're certainly responding with significant force and effort. And one of the things that actually I think is super interesting from a marketing standpoint is the messaging that is out there right now. The messaging is very effective. So from a communication standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, they're doing all the right things to get the word out there about how dangerous they think this virus really is.
I guess the question that I should have asked you, because from a scientific perspective, you nor I know how long this is going to last. This is not our area. But from a business perspective, let's say 2 months from now, people start going back to work, things start to normalize. How long do you think from that point until getting back to normal, the way we knew normal before, how long do you think that's going to take?
Gotcha. So I think Unfortunately, the second quarter of the year is doomed already. And what's crazy is we're not even in the second quarter. So first quarter, basically any profits that you had would probably be erased by March. And then I think the second quarter, April, May, and June is basically shot at this point. And so we're really looking at the third quarter. So in the third quarter, I believe things are going to start getting back to normal. That's based on just, the dates that I'm hearing being thrown out by people like the president and the governor about, it's going to take until like May or June. And so I think there's going to be a ramp up time for sure. But if you look at like, I looked very briefly into the Spanish flu of 1918, which was a worse epidemic than we're facing right now. And everything closed down. Lots of people died. But once it was contained, business boomed. The markets boomed. So hopefully that boom happens in the third quarter. And then for the holiday season, like all this built up and pent up demand is unleashed to the business world, and we have just an amazing end of year. That's what I'm hoping for.
And some nice Christmas presents.
That's right.
It sounds good.
That would be
Erik,
a great Christmas present.
that would be. Thank you so much for being on the podcast and doing this quick video. I want to remind everyone at I am Erik J. Olson on Twitter is where they can connect with you. So go there. He's very active on Twitter if you're not watching this on Twitter. And, just make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that you can find Erik and listen to those episodes, because those episodes we did, there's a lot of good stuff coming out over the next week that you can check out from the digital marketing standpoint. So Erik, thanks so much, man. I look forward to talking with you soon.
Yeah, man. Very cool. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.